New reaction today to the massive economic shock caused by the war in Iran, now in day 9. Lawmakers estimate the daily cost could go well beyond the previously reported amount of $1 billion a day.
The full cost, such as replacing all of the military hardware that we're currently using in this military operation, that's where actually the cost can explode. And I think that $1 billion rough estimate that we're hearing right now isn't properly accounting for that.
Joining me is Henrietta Trays, co-founder and director of economic policy at Vita Partners. Henrietta, welcome back. So let's start with the congressman's comments there, because The Atlantic previously reported the Pentagon estimates the war costing the U.S. $1 billion a day, but we just heard it is likely far more. And earlier, Senator John Kennedy claimed the funds are there.
Congress, at least the Republicans in Congress, are not going to let us falter in achieving our objective because we run out of money. I think right now our military has plenty of money and they have plenty of ammunition. This business about we're running out of ammunition is foolishness.
Okay, so given the financial anxiety for Americans right now, does war make sense? There isn't money for Americans' health care, but there is for missiles in Iran?
Not only is there money for missiles in Iran already backed up by what Senator Kennedy was talking about, Republicans last year plussed up the Defense Department by $150 billion, money they've presumably already used for the incursions in Venezuela and now obviously $1 billion a day in Iran. But for the American public, I just saw the most incredible stat, which is that we are up to $200 million a day that Americans are spending on oil and gas at the pump that we were not spending just 9 days ago. $200 million a day. And that's just going to escalate as the crude oil prices continue to rise. We're at $90 right now, and I think it's very within the ballpark that we get to $100 a barrel by the end of this week, maybe even before that. And then we're paying gas is $4 a gallon. That's the real cost to you and me all day, every day that this goes on.
Wow, that's a lot of money. There's a Washington Post headline that reads, Iran war spreading economic damage far beyond oil and gas markets, and reports that Europe and Asia are being hit the hardest right now. So why is that? And is it just a matter of time until the U.S. is hit just as hard? I mean, you've just articulated the price at the pump, and that's going up significantly and constantly. But even beyond that.
Absolutely beyond that. I mean, that's not the only thing that goes through the Strait of Hormuz. We get all of our fertilizer from there. I want to say it's something like 41% of the urea that goes into fertilizing any crop, whether it's in the United States or the EU or the UK, comes from that region. So when you think about the U.S. farmers who are already dealing with a $12 billion bailout they got because of the president's trade wars, we're going to need another $15 billion to bail them out from this hot war. And that's going to be included in the next emergency supplemental request that has to come from the White House if this is to continue. If we're burning $1 billion a day or more, we're going to need to have more come from the Congress. The president doesn't have the authority to just send this money out. He doesn't have control over the Treasury. He's got to go to the Congress and say, look, I need another $100 billion to spend on the Pentagon. But I also need $15 billion for the farmers who are getting slammed again. And by the way, we're going to need to insure those tankers that are going through the Strait of Hormuz because nobody wants to get on them. They're wildly unsafe. And so you have to pay about $1 million per cargo to get through the strait right now. It is escalation across every kind of input, from the insurance to move the tanker to the fertilizer that goes to our plants and any kind of agriculture we have in the United States. And then also directly to gas prices that hit the whole globe, China, all the UAE, and also the U.S.
There's an MS Now headline that reads, America can't afford Trump's war with Iran for long. And just this week, we saw a dismal jobs report. Of course, the increased gas prices we're talking about, also a major dip in the stock market. So it does beg the question, how long can the U.S. afford to stay in this war?
I think the question is, how long can the president afford to stay in this war? Because we have already a huge disconnect between what the American people thought they were signing up for with Donald Trump and what they've gotten. Inflation is still at 3%. We have lost 72,000 manufacturing jobs, and now we're at a war in the Middle East. So the question is, at what point do Republicans, who, by the way, are on recess this entire week in the House of Representatives, so they're not going to do anything fast, but when they get back and we're still at war, we could be at that $100 barrel of crude that I was just mentioning, $4 for gas at the pump across the country, and the American public starting to ask their local representative, hey, what are you doing? I need you to reel this back in. And the president is simultaneously going to be coming to them and saying, I'm not reeling this back in. I need more money. So I think all eyes should be on the potential for another bill through Congress that asks for 100, 150, maybe even $200 billion in taxpayer money that, by the way, would have spent all the money on ACA subsidies, 100-fold. So that's what we're dealing with right now.
Henrietta Treyz, thank you very much for all of that. Appreciate you.